Happy Wednesday. From here, it all goes downhill. Hump day. You love it. You know it. Matt Barrett, Christian Williamson here for the next hour. In about 8 hours, the Lakers begin their quest to save their season. We are live in L.A. to hear what's giving Luka confidence heading into a possible season-ending Game 5.
Yes, that. Plus, the 7th-seed Warriors have the 2-seed Rockets on the elimination ropes. We are live in Houston. Will Jimmy Butler be ready to go? And for Houston, why the devil is in the details.
Keeping it hoops, the Fever meeting with the media today ahead of the big WNBA season to come. What Caitlin Clark said about the opportunity in front of them. We are live in Indiana.
Plus, Booger McFarland is here to post-draft who he thinks did the best work in Green Bay. Why it's a team that picked twice in the first round.
But we begin in the NBA. Look at our trio of superstars ready to just make you smarter ahead of this big one tonight. We start with NBA reporter Dave McMenamin, who is covering the Lakers. LA on the brink of elimination. McMenamin, what are you hearing about the team's game plan heading into tonight?
Matt, we all know what happened in the fourth quarter of Game 4, but Luka Doncic, when I spoke to him at Lakers practice on Tuesday, wanted to focus on the third quarter of Game 4 when the Lakers outscored the Timberwolves 36-23. He said we were flying around on defense, we were sharing the ball, we were making the right read of the Wolves defense to get better opportunities. It led to open shots from the perimeter. They hit 7 threes that quarter, and he said that sampling of basketball in a road environment against the Wolves when we were down at halftime gives me the confidence that we have a formula we can follow to get this win on Wednesday, which the team is referring to as a Game 7, even though it's a Game 5.
And look, they need to focus on the fourth quarter. They've been outscored the fourth quarter of the last game. They've been outscored in the fourth quarter of the entire series. And we know J.J. Redick did not rest anyone during the second half of that Game 4 loss, which was talked about ad nauseum afterwards. So what can you tell us about how minutes will be managed for the team tonight?
Yeah, Matt, I asked JJ straight up at practice on Tuesday, are we going to see the same group to start Game 5 that we saw to end Game 4? And he just said TBD. But again, if in their film session they're pointing to how great they looked in the third quarter, well, that was Dorian Finney-Smith on the court with the starters and not Jackson Hayes. And Jackson Hayes, before he got that ultra short hook, which after 4 minutes in Game 4 was already not playing very many minutes this series, only about 8.5 a game. And so you had to expect a heavy dose of Dorian Finney-Smith in with the starters, but you'd probably think there'll be some sprinkling of their other role players in terms of Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, and Jordan Goodwin. He didn't use any of those guys. JJ didn't use any of those guys in the second half of Game 4. Those guys can all provide a defensive lift, and you think you'll see some minutes for them tonight in an elimination game.
Yeah, at this point, it's a Game 7, even if they win tonight, because their backs are against the wall the rest of this series. We'll see what J.J. Redick does to deploy a different strategy. We know Dave McMenamin will be all over it. Thank you, sir.
All right, basketball analyst Chiney Ogwumike is here to weigh in, my 2020 twin. Chiney, obviously Matt said it. We've talked about this ad nauseum. What is your take on J.J. Redick's minutes management for his squad?
Yeah, twin, where have you been? We're matching with the red. Look, J.J. Redick, he gambled and gave himself a double whammy. One, he maxed out his starters, and that's tough going into a game of elimination where you could be dealing with fatigue. And then two, you have to think about it. He might have lost his bench, lost the trust of them. And the bench is something that he truly needs right now. The Lakers, this bench averaged 12.8 points collectively, the second fewest amongst all postseason teams. And you need them now because this Minnesota Timberwolves team is stacked and is getting production from guys not named Anthony Edwards. Jaden McDaniels has been phenomenal. So has Naz Reid. And so if you think about it, I think JJ needs to switch gears from focusing on offense to defense. Use Jay Vando on the perimeter, Jackson Hayes on the interior for rim protection because they've been outscored in the paint by 60 points so far in this series. So maybe focusing on defense and trusting your guys will pay, and it will help back them up when it matters most.
Yeah, the other thing is if this game went any other way, we'd be talking about it in a different way. Like if they had won the game, it'd be a great decision. If he had gone to his bench and they still lost, it'd be a bad decision. So there's plenty of ways to look at this. Chiney, stick right there.
Revisionist history. That's what makes basketball fun. We're going to keep it NBA Western Conference. We're going to step aside from the Lakers game for a minute and welcome in our NBA reporter, Young-Suk, who joined us ahead of Warriors-Rockets. Another elimination game 5 tonight. And, what are the players saying with a chance the Warriors to close out the series tonight on the road?
Matt, it's a good bet that Steve Kerr is going to tell his team before tonight's game, poise. He said it in Game 1. When Houston got off to a quick start, this play sounded like it was going to explode. Alperen Sengun had a poster dunk over Draymond Green. Game 2, this place was rocking. The Warriors understand, and this is why they have their championship pedigree, that they have to stay together. That's what Jimmy Butler said. And look, they can't get caught up in the antics as Steph Curry talked about, i.e. Dillon Brooks, okay? Jimmy Butler made it very clear. I don't like Dillon Brooks. We don't have fun when we're on the court. Steph Curry even got caught up in it with a rare taunting foul on him. They cannot get caught up in all those things. They have to keep their poise. And Steph said it's a very long game. No matter how we start off in this game, we got to keep our poise and stay together.
Yeah, championship pedigree, I'd say keeping the poise probably looks more towards Draymond Green than anyone as they look to close this thing out. How's Jimmy Butler feeling going into this one?
So Jimmy is listed as probable. You know he's going to play. He did admit that he was in a lot of pain. And Draymond Green said, look, Jimmy couldn't move for the first 3 quarters, but guess who showed up in the fourth? Playoff Jimmy. I recently sat down with him and I asked him about that persona, Playoff Jimmy. He said, it's just a facade, man. People think that I like to step up my game another notch at this time of year. Maybe I have the ball in my hands a little bit more. Maybe I take a few more shots. He did say, but that guy, Playoff Jimmy, you know what? He's willing to do whatever it takes to win a game. He is literally willing to die on the court. And I think we saw that in the fourth quarter. He scored 14 points and grabbed the biggest rebound of the season where he skied over Steven Adams and 2 of the Rockets to grab basically the game-winning rebound.
Yeah, and all due respect to Jimmy Butler, we have stats to prove that playoff Jimmy is really a thing to back that up. Okay, we know that you're the sneakerhead. You are a resident shoe expert. I want a sneak peek of what you're going with tonight.
Matt, how does this look? I know it may be Rockets colors. You know, maybe that's what the Warriors might say, but I think these are going to be pretty crispy and clean for tonight.
Oh, man. Those are so throwback.
What do you think?
I love them. 9.5. Float them my way if you want. Those things are perfect.
Size 10, Matt.
Oh, half-inch. This has been the story of my whole life. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if I've ever seen Matt Berry in a pair of Jordans, as Shanae Ogumike.
See, the thing is, I would make those look so good. Ohm will too, but.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Anyways.
thank you.
And it'd be my red. I'd be wearing my red with you guys.
It'd be so weird. Okay, Janae, what do you need to see from this Warriors squad tonight in order to close out the series in 5?
Golden State has historically been known for their offense. We talk about Splash Bros. Now they're like Splash Cousins, all those types of things. But if they were to win, they would do it in this series defensively. And their top 2 defenders have truly showed up. Jimmy Butler has done a tremendous job, especially when switching out onto Jalen Green, who other than that 38-point game has been averaging 8 points per game, 29% from the field he's been shooting, and 2 for 14 from 3. And of course, everyone was celebrating Draymond Green, who held Alperen Sengun as well to 3 of 13 shooting while he was on the floor. So what's actually getting this done is the work that the Golden State Warriors are putting defensively, not just offensively.
There were so many questions when Jimmy went out to San Francisco whether or not this was going to work. We knew he was going to show up in the playoffs for sure because that is playoff Jimmy. But how much do you believe Jimmy is the X factor for Golden State in these playoffs?
Christine, there are certain people out there that once they walk into the room,